Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bachakwadash. I want to say double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This Rob Ahmad for the Nebraska camp. This is GMS Any Push to the Mark. Yeah, I wanted to go over, this article here. It's like you got to get it pulled up back up. It's by the Daily Signal, and the title is actually take a screenshot so I could put it in post production. UN move would sell our sovereignty to globalist GOP lawmakers, warn. And so from what I'm reading in this article, just pretty much the path to the MOTB. Okay, to summarize it before I read it, it's just what they're saying is that the UN and the World Health Organization wants to pretty much write the laws. Okay, that's pretty much to summarize it, and that's a big step. Okay, not America writing its own laws and this place and that place. No, the UN is going to write everybody's laws. And that's going to go into which we all know NATO and the EU is the beast. Okay, the 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's get that. Okay, we'll go into Revelation chapter 17. Okay. Revelation chapter 17, this thing, I hate when it asks 80 questions. I don't know if y'all Blue Letter does that. Do you pace? Do you want to? It's like, golly. Revelation 17:7, it says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose name were not written in the book. Okay, so this beast, all right, the whore that rideth on the beast, okay, might as well just read the whole, well, I just wanted the 7 heads, 10 horns. The 7 heads and 10 horns, which is NATO and the EU. And the woman, like in verse 3 in particular, or verse 4, I read verse 3 through 4 just to, get an insight. It says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, okay, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, okay. And then again, the 7 heads or the countries, go German major, German minor, Portugal, Hispaniola, Britain, France, So then you got the 10 horns, which is the kingdoms, okay, that are within those 7 heads. Okay, so when you go into verse 4, it says, and the woman, which is Babylon, okay, the harlot, okay, it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, which is that royalty sit on high, all right? Purple means royalty. It says, and the precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots, and abomination of the earth. Okay, so yeah, within this, what I'm saying, that harlot is, America, aka Babylon, and the 7 heads and the 10 nations is NATO and EU. And we're gonna further prove that. I'm going to let's see here. We're going to go into Daniel's chapter 2 and verse 41. It says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the potter's clay, part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." Okay, and those 10 toes, okay, represents those 10 horns in Revelations. Okay, and that partly strong, partly broken, because some of the nations are strong and some of the nations are weaker, as well as them being divided amongst each other as well. Okay, because the scriptures tell you the nation shall hate the whore. Okay, so that miry clay also you can see here. Got the word clay for this here, because even NATO and the EU, you know, it's just earthen shards, you know, a weaker, weaker component to hold something together. You know, welding metal to metal is, you know, make it strong, but you got metal and clay, you know, it's more subject to breaking. Okay, and they're broken economically. They're broken because I forget, there was a UN summit or meeting, and pretty much the guy was saying that, pretty much calling the U.S. as hypocrites, but at the same time he's working for the U.S. or the UN and doing their dirty work as a country. Okay, but he's saying they're hypocrites at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because they're, you know, the U.S. and those Amalekites in our land have they pretty much be cutting these other weaker nations at the legs by beefing with neighboring nations. Okay, you know, they're beefing with Russia affects, you know, like Armenia or, you know, certain Austria, and you know them beefing in the Middle East affects those countries, and you know, so they start beefing and, you know, arguing about what to do. But let's get to the nitty gritty. And in the article, I just took out some, you know, I'm just gonna get to some key paragraph points, and then we'll bring out some more precepts after that. It says they seek to facilitate the evolution of the UN from an international cooperative body to an international governing body. Okay, cause all, both small and great, to receive the mark. Man, this is how they're going to globally push whatever agenda that they want. It's not just going to be in pockets like I think it's Kuwait. That's, you know, they freezing everybody's bank accounts and you gotta, unless you get your fingerprint scanned. This is going to be a global law. All right, and it's crazy because the pandemic is the stem or the catalyst of it. And we all been telling you guys that that was a trial run to see what they can do and how they can do it, and it was possible, as well as putting other things in place, the 5G towers, putting the nanotech in Jake, you know what I'm saying, and people and things like that. You know, everything's in the wheels are turning. It says Good said at the Tuesday press conference, this weekend the United Nations will host a conference called Summit for the Future. Okay, and we're going to go into that word summit. All right, we're going to go into that word summit. It says in the etymology, it says highest point, peak. Okay, apex, a physical thing. Summit, top, diminutive, highest part. Okay, and when you go into Revelations, it says, Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. You know what I'm saying? And they're at their peak. All right. It is high time for us too to wake out of sleep, because it's high time for them to press their issue because, they know that the Lord is coming. They know that they're trying to race before the second coming of Yahweh Shai. Because if you guys don't believe in him or you don't believe his name and all that, the truth is going to manifest. Yahweh Shai will manifest and he will come in his glory like the scriptures say, and every knee shall bow. Okay? But we're going to get back to it. All right? So within the article, it says, that summit of the future, and I didn't read the article, but this is from this is actually on the United Nations site, Summit of the Future, New York 2024, and this actually happened, probably yesterday, September 20 through the 21st, action days, and then the summit is September 22nd through the 23rd. All right, and I think yesterday was the 24th, so it's, let me see, no, the day before yesterday, so it was Monday that they did this, okay? It's now the 26th. Man, hey, that's how time going, man. Esau be having us in hell, man. We don't know what day it is. It says, Summit of the Future Outcome Document. World leaders adopt a pact for the future that includes a global digital compact and a declaration on future generations. Okay? The pact covers a broad range of themes, including peace and security, sustainable development, climate change, digital cooperation. You got to check in. Human rights, gender, youth, and future generations, and transformation of global governance. Okay? And Abaratazar, take a picture of that as well. All right? Take a picture of the still that I have of what is said. Okay? But this is, man, hey, we're headed to the MOTB, man. All right? We're headed to a one world government. Okay? These 15-minute cities we've been telling Jake about, they're talking about making everything equal. Okay? Socially, digitally, all that. How you do that? Through rations. All right? Everybody get this much. They're about to turn into North Korea. Just in a American way. We're the American. No, this ain't communism. This is however you paint it. All right? And who's to say that these, like, communism and socialism, all these aren't, like, ideas that were created in the beginning, but people say, you know what? Go over here and execute this and do it as much as you can and develop it. Go over to this country and develop it. And then we're going to see what we can get out of all this and then come up with one world government. I wouldn't put it past them if they thought of that. All right? It says they went to the Summit of the Future to discuss 3 proposed international agreements: the Pact for the Future, the Declaration on Future Generations, and the Global Digital Compact. All right, we just read that. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres produced a report in 2021 called Our Common Agenda, which used the C-19 as justification for increasing the UN's power to address world crisis because it wasn't feasible to rely on member nations to do the right thing, right? So that pandemic was the stem for more control. It was a justification. Hey, we can't trust all these countries to do everything, to be in unison, So if we suggest it to them, we're kind of leaving our one hand tied behind our back. We're leaving ourselves out there. We need to create a new amendment to ensure that if something like this happened again, that there's a law to say everybody do this, everybody do that. And we already know it's all these situations are controlled. Okay, it's nothing for them to do a false flag and say, hey, this is the reason why we got to lock it all in. Draconian martial law, worldwide martial law, man. That's all it's going to turn into. Okay. It says, It says the pact for the future includes an emergency platform that will give Guterres the power as UN chief to address what the agreement calls global shocks. These global shocks, the agreement says, include large-scale climate and environmental events. They already talking about cow farts and global warming that causes major socioeconomic disruptions and or environmental degradation. Future pandemics with cascading secondary impacts, high impact events involving a biological agent, deliberate or accidental, chemical warfare, nuclear plant busting, man, all you need is, and this is all within their control. Who say they can't bomb somebody, bomb a country they don't care about with some gas, and then say, hey, that we gotta lock it in. To hell with all these governments. We just gonna run everybody down, and who don't agree, we just gonna mow them down. It says events leading to disruptions to global flows of goods, people, or finance. Yeah, because during that pandemic, they was messing up a lot of flow, for you, the odds of you getting a lot of things is still in effect right now. Certain things you can't just get up and go get, because of that situation. But they have it like that because there's articles and videos showing you how many barges are just sitting over in South America waiting to get this stuff. And then you got the truckers and the trucker strikes and things like that. You got the gas going up. You got, all these things that they're trying to say, oh, there's no goods. Though they're doing certain little knick-knack stuff at every level of economic flow to stifle the large flow of delicacies. Okay, if you create a tax, to get the barges over because everybody was getting sick, so you create a tax for that. That's going to slow it down. Then when you get there, then the access to get the barges off the boats onto the land, that's a hindrance. And then when you get the barges off the boats onto the land, now you're hindering the truckers and the planes, and you're charging them or you're taxing them or you're telling them they can't be owner-operators. That's hindering it. You know what I'm saying? You're telling people they can't go out and do this. Or you're telling grocery stores, if you don't do this and comply, or you know what I'm saying? And so it's a constant choke at every level. So once you get down to and stuff rolls downhill, there's nothing to see in the grocery stores and the supermarkets. Then it's super high and overpriced. Okay, and they're gonna say, "Hey, we have a solution. Everything can go back to normal if," So let's continue. It says, large-scale destructive and or disruptive activity in cyberspace or disruptions to global connectivity, a major event in outer space that causes severe disruptions to one or several critical systems on Earth, and unforeseen risks, black swan events. The UN Declaration on Future Generation advocates a future free of what? Inequality. The document says a prosperous, I don't know, I want to say prosperous future can be guaranteed by eliminating the integrational transmission of poverty and hunger and inequality and injustice. And poverty is going to be, and hunger is going to be a problem too. With all these seedless foods, they could just cut off access to foods and blame it on something else. Okay, land hurricanes, regular hurricanes, heart. All right. And then you can't say nothing like this and say it was this or that because they're going to control information going on the internet. That's what you heard them say, cyberspace and digital connectivity. They're like George Soros, they believe George Soros and say we should have the worst thing they could ever done was invent the internet. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the Rockefellers, made that statement. But now they're trying to police it and regulate it to where you won't have access to so-called misinformation. And they're saying through AI, we're going to be able to eliminate misinformation. We're seeing how that's working right now on YouTube. Okay? Why do you think we got to say MOTB? We can't sit there and just say it. We could barely say that. We can't say, that situation that happened in 2020 because they're going to deem it as what? Medical misinformation. And then you got to argue with them about it, and it's going to be over some BS. But here it is. They can get on the news and talk about it on their own and lie. They're just going to control the narrative. Okay? It says the UN Declaration on Future Generations advocates for future free. So like I read that. It says, and by the way, this is not a straight down chronological read. These are articles that I took out of the article, paragraphs that I took out of the article. So it's a bit longer than this. So you probably, it's going to be different following along. Okay. It says the Global Digital Compact declares the UN's power to regulate technology, use AI to advance social justice, stop misinformation and disinformation, and create standards to which everyone must adhere. According to its Common Agenda document, the UN will introduce accountability criteria for disinformation and misleading content and promote regulation of artificial intelligence, or AI. The global organization's document states that with the internet comes the ability to cause large-scale disinformation and undermine scientifically established facts. That is an existential risk to humanity, which is not. All right. But they're controlling the narrative. They're going to say, hey, we're doing the facts. We got the facts. What you saying is a lie. So we're not going to allow you to talk. That's what they're going to do. It says in a bold text, the UN document says that in defending the right to freedom of expression, societies must develop a consensus on the public good and of facts, knowledge, science, and knowledge. Okay, so they're saying that we all gotta, in order for all us to agree, all us gotta think the same, pretty much, and we're gonna do the thinking. So all y'all gotta agree to what we're thinking. To sum it up, in 2022, after that pandemic, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services proposed amendments to enable the WHO, World Health Organization, Director General Tedros Adhanom to declare an intermediate public health alert in any member nation. In any member nation, this become known as a pandemic agreement. All right. Is in this last statement I want to read from that article, says the United Nations and the World Health Organization want to become the lawmaking body to tell us what to do, Uman said. That's their whole goal. They're trying to become the lawmakers of the world. Okay? So this is going to lead to the MOTB. It causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, to free and bond to receive the mark. That's how it's going to happen. That's how they're going to get everybody under the world rounded up. That's how it's going to be a worldwide martial law. That's how it's going to be a worldwide anything, a worldwide new government. Is going to be through the beast. Okay? It's going to be through NATO and the EU. All right? So hopefully this was edifying. With that being said, I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kadash, double honor to our apostles, who are elders who rule well. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.